The final presidential debate is in the books, and we are now in the home stretch of election 2020. Joining us right now is our political analyst, Dr. Susan McManus. Dr. McManus, your initial thoughts after the debate last night?
What a refreshing change from the first one. This should have been the first, but I think a lot of people tuned in just to really see if these two gentlemen could adhere to the mute button and not really get into the name calling and badgering that they saw last time. Very helpful to people. If you were leaning towards Trump, it probably pushed you in that direction. Same if you were leaning towards Biden, probably pushed you in that direction. But what do we see now? The little pieces of usefulness to the parties at this point from this debate. You're going to see the Democrats pick certain things that Trump said and put it in ads in key states against Trump. Same thing was true. Trump will look at certain statements that Biden said and use those in ads in the states where those issues matter most. But for the average person, it was a relief. It was a 180 degree from what the first one was, and much more, I think, comforting to know that these candidates have a lot more policy depth than we gave them credit for after the first debate.
Absolutely. Definitely very refreshing and reassuring for sure. Right. What do you think are the two big takeaways from both President Trump and former Vice President Biden from last night?
We'll start with Trump. The two things he was trying to emphasize most, and this has been part of his overall strategy, was the fact that Biden's been in there and held office for 8 years, and a lot of the things he was talking about didn't get done. And the second thing that he really emphasized was, do you want another shutdown? Our country can't take that. Those were the two takeaways in terms of Trump. For Biden, his main points were COVID is not going away. We don't seem to be able to adjust to it. And it's because the president himself hasn't set a good example and been a good leader. And his second main point was that he would be sort of a calming effect in contrast to chaos, which he described the White House as being at the moment. So these are the broad, I think, takeaways for what each of them were hoping could get through all of the other points that they were making.
Which candidate do you think benefited most from the debate last night?
I think it's a toss-up, frankly. There is an old saying that if you exceed expectations, you are considered a winner. Certainly, if you looked at who exceeded expectations, it would be Trump, because everybody expected him to disintegrate into what he was the first debate. If, on the other hand, you talk about the winner being someone who is ahead and is going to keep that lead because they haven't damaged themselves, then you would have to look at the winner on that count being Biden. And so both of these are kind of typical gauges of who wins a debate. So each of them has one in their side for one of each of these criteria.
Absolutely. And now, obviously, the moderator did a fabulous job. And also that mute button was a really good tool to have. Do you think that is going to be something we're going to see in debates moving forward? Or do you think this was just solely based on the two candidates we have now? What's your opinion?
The big winners of the evening were obviously the voters who were interested to hear this debate. But number two, and maybe I'd put it number one, was the mute button. And I really don't think you're ever going to see that go away again, because it allows a candidate to give an unfettered, uninterrupted, clear 2-minute overview of what point they're trying to make on a critical issue. No, I don't think the mute button's ever going away.
It was an interesting choice from the commission, and it looks like it might be here to stay. And finally, so we just have, less than 2 weeks now till Election Day. What do the candidates need to do between now and Election Day?
It sounds like same, but it is same, and it's absolutely critical. They are working 100% now on getting people to the polls, turnout, people that support them, because a lot of people can say to a pollster, I'm for this candidate or that, but that isn't a guarantee that someone's actually going to carry through with the act of voting. So from here till election day, it's 100% about trying to get people to vote and vote for them. But you can tell the importance of different groups and different states to this turnout game by where these candidates are going from here to election day. It is no shock that the president is in Florida and Obama is coming for Biden in Florida. But it's also not shocking that Biden is going to some other places that he sees as an important state for him to win.
Absolutely.
So you can tell also, just looking at Florida, which groups each of these candidates feels that they really need to work on for turnout by where they're going. So, for example, President Trump is going to the villages and to the panhandle, both two areas that voted for him last time. And the seniors particularly are less behind him this time, but he wants to make sure that those are supporting him do show up. Biden team is going to Southeast Florida, Broward County, Miami area, because that's an area where they really need to try to get turnout up among minorities and particularly Latinos. So where they go is a signal that they are going there to try to mobilize and get those groups to actually turn out and vote for them.
And we will be following both candidates for the next week and a half-ish until Election Day. Dr. McManus, thank you so much for your insight on the last presidential debate, and have a relaxing weekend.
Football, baseball, yay.
Sports. Thanks so much.